सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Sairam everyone. We had looked at the beginning of the seventh Anuvaka last week of the Chamakam. We will continue from where we left off. It was, I don't think I spent much time. So we will start with the seventh Anuvaka today again. Chamakam Saptamonuvakaha. Chamakam Saptamonuvakaha. Chamakam Saptamonuvakaha. Saptamaha Anuvakaha. Saptamaha means seventh. Anuvaka is the chapter. In the previous Anuvaka, in the sixth Anuvaka, we had looked at various forms of deities, manifestations of Rudra within us. Of course, in the external world as well. But we try to connect them to the inner energies of the Rudra, which is making our body function. This Anuvaka continues from that theme and talks about all the resources which are available inside and also externally. So it talks about the yajna itself, how a yajna is performed, and so on. So we will take a look at that. It's again, the rishis saw Sri Rudra as manifesting in different forms so that we can function and we can perform the yajna, the offering to the Lord, the worship of the Lord. Okay, so we will take a look at the mantras. The first mantra is Agum Suschame. But that is Agum Suschame is the mantra, but as I had mentioned previously, the Gum is something which is unique to the Yajurveda, Krishna Yajurveda chanting. Okay, and the real letter is Anuswara, which is So the Agum Suschame, which is chanted, actually is Suschame. Suschame. So this Shuschame, I think it's a very simple mantra, so I don't think it's difficult for anyone. The Sandhi, when it's broken, it's Shuhu Cha Me. Shuhu Cha Me. So Shuhu is the mantra itself. Because Cha Me, as you all know, it's common for all the mantras. So Suschame Kalpatam. So Shuhu. What's the meaning of this Amshuhu means? It comes from the word Amsha, that's a part. Okay. But the word Amsha is attached some suffixes, uhu, shuhu, which makes the Amsha become shuhu. So there are multiple references in the yajna tradition to what it is. One meaning is it is a part of light. The sun's light is one aspect. Then we had discussed soma juice. That is one of the key offering into the yajna. Swami has said it is the essence of the mind itself. When the mind is controlled, the essence itself, soma juice. Soma is nothing but the moon. So part of that is also amshu. The vessel which is used to offer, one of the vessels which is used to offer is also given the name amshu. So in all sense, it is one of the key ingredient in the yajna. A part of us, we are asking for that, asking the Lord to grant us that thing, that offering, which we can offer to the fire, and let it be beneficial. Amsushchame kalpata. The next mantra is Rashmischame. I think we have looked at Rashmi in the past also. Rashmischame is a very simple sound, so I don't think it's difficult to pronounce. Rashmischame, Rashmischame, Rashmischame. Rashmihi cha me. Rashmi is nothing but a ray of the light. This ray of light is Rashmi. So that which illumines, you can say, is Rashmi. Okay. So these we are making sure that all there's light, there is offering, all this keeping all of them ready so that we can perform the yajna. So the rishis are praying for that. And again, you can say that the amsha is also a part of us. Our mind, when it's purified, one of the crescent, each crescent of the moon represents one crescent of our mind also. That which is to be offered, let it be beneficial. It's a prayer. So here we can say there should be light. For the moon to mind to shine, there should be light from the sun. So the buddhi has to shine. So we are praying for that also. Rashmischame, let there be at least a streak of light in our mind, heart, so we can offer. So that's being prayed for. Rashmischame kalpata. The next mantra is adabhyascha. Actually, when during the sandhi, when you chant the a in the first letter, becomes silent and avagraha is used. That's why I put it in brackets. Avagraha is when during the sandhi the a becomes silent, but when the sandhi is split, the word is adabhyascha me. Okay, adabhyascha me, adabhyascha me. In terms of pronunciation, make a note of the ub, which is the fourth letter in the pa varga, so it has to be aspirated. Adabhyascha me. When the mantra is split, it's adabhyah cha me. So we will look at the meaning of the word adabhyah. Adabhyah means that which is pure, which is not defiled. Okay, undefiled offering used for yajna. So the thing is, we can keep something ready for offering, but it should be undefiled by anything which it could pollute it. So we are asking for that also, that the offering which we have kept for offering, let it be undefiled. So we are praying for that. Adabhyascha kalpatam. So whatever preparation we do, whatever good things which we may do, something can spoil it. So recognizing that, the rishis are praying Adabhyascha kalpatam. So we will look at the next mantra. Again, there was an avagraha when you when you chant it all together. So, but I have removed the sandhi. So the word mantra becomes adhipatischa me. Patischa me. Again, this ma is actually me, but because of sandhi, it has become ma. Okay, because we have already dealt with it so many times. I did not go to the trouble of showing it here, but I think by now you should be familiar with it. Adhipatischa me. Adhipatischa me. Adhipatischa me. In terms of pronunciation, the second letter, adhi, is the fourth letter in the tha varga, so it has to be aspirated. Adhi, adhipatischa me. So even it's further split, it's adhipatihi cha me. Adhipatihi cha me kalpatam. So let's look at the meaning of adhipati. I think, and if you know how it's used in common parlance, adhipati means someone who is the boss, who controls everything, who looks after everything, okay, protects everything. That is adhipati, the highest person who protects everything. But in this case, I've given the meaning the highest principle which controls, which protects. Because you can't say, one is you can give personification, which is God's manifestation, which is also Adhipati, it's also highest principle. But that's also, in our mind also, there's some principle, which is of the highest nature, which can control everything else and make sure nothing goes wrong. Everything runs as it should, which is nothing but buddhi, or conscience, or, and the energy of the Atman, which functions, which controls everything. So we're asking for that. We're asking for something which can control everything, because we realize that we are incapable of making sure that everything runs well and is controllable. Because within our own body, there are so many things which go on, we don't have control over. So the same way, the mind also runs around, we don't have control over. So only with the divine help, which can control and protect. So we're asking for that supervision. We're asking for supervision from the Lord. You can say that way also. So adhipatischa me kalpatam. Adhipatischa me kalpatam. We're asking the Lord to make sure that He makes sure that everything is going well. So even when we do some sadhana, we may be out of control. So we need God to look after. For example, Sage Vishwamitra, he himself was such a great rishi, very powerful, but he also wanted Sri Rama to come and protect his yajna. So he actually performs that. But in the yajna also, there are certain roles of certain ritviks, or who are considered adhipati. They make sure that everything runs well also. So similar roles are provided for the external yajna also. When the yajna is performed in the external, the fire ritual is done. Okay. So let's look at the next mantra. Pagum sushchame. That's the way it's pronounced while chanting. Pagum sushchame. But again, the gum is only for chanting purposes. The word itself is upam shushchame. Upam shushchame. In terms of pronunciation, it should be pretty simple. There are no aspirated sounds or complicated consonants. So when the upam shushchame is further split, it's upam shuhu cha me, upam shuhu cha me. Upam shuhu, if you look at how that word is formed, it's upa amshuhu. Amshuhu we have already looked at amshushchame. So upam shushchame means that which follows, or a secondary one. Okay. So upam shushchame means that the population which is second to what was originally offered. So all the following offerings also should be beneficial. Upam Shushchame Kalpatam is one meaning. Some of the commentators have given Upamshu is also a mantra which is whispered. Mantra can be chanted out, but there is something which is muttered within the mouth also. Okay, under your breath. That is also called Upamshu. So ability to chant like that, that is also prayed for from the Lord. Sairam, Sister Aruna, you have asked a question.
Sairam, brother. Upagum champe. So you're saying the word is ubahum, ubahum. But when we are chanting, the sound is little different. So is that won't make, we always have to keep the sound with the meaning or word like that. But here, for the chanting purpose, we are changing to the gum. So it doesn't change the meaning of it, or?
It does not change, sister. So the gum is actually, the Anuswara is gum, chanted as gum. This is a very unique thing for only the Yajurveda tradition. Whoever the rishis have come up with that, there must be some sound benefit for chanting gum instead of it could be an emphasis. It's that kind of meaning you have to take. It should never be chanted as gum. Many people will chant as upagum saschame, which is not correct. It is a gum, upagum saschame. Okay, the is said along with gum. I think there is some scientific reasons, I guess, for the rishis to do that. The ga is produced at the throat, gum is produced at the nasal level. There must be some sound production, and there is some benefit to that. So the meaning does not change by the word gum. Okay, that's my understanding.
Okay,
So
okay.
upam sushchame is the word.
But
that is gum sushchame is the way you chant it.
Okay. So meaning remains. Okay,
Meaning
thank you.
Fine. So as I mentioned, so this also can be, mantras are chanted in three ways. One is loud, vaikari. Madhyama means you chant it, you mumble it, or you chant it silently. Okay, there are three ways the mantras are chanted. Each of them has their own benefit. It can also say, even though the sound has gone out, mantra, there's a vibration which remains in the mouth also. The vibration does not die down. And that also can be that which follows chanting of a mantra. If you chant the mantra will be vibrating in us, because that is the most benefit which we get. Okay, so it's being asked for from the Lord. That meaning is also given for this mantra. Upam shushchame kalpatam. Okay, because when the mantra is chanted, there should be benefit, and that it should be a continuous benefit. Upa is that which follows. That way also you can take the meaning.
Sorry, brother, that was a mistake by myself. I don't know what happened to my mouse. Sorry. Sorry, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I don't know what happened to my mouse. I need to do something with this.
Sorry. No problem. Sorry.
Sorry.
So the next mantra is Antaryamascha. Okay. Again, the A is actually silent with avagraha, but I have split the sandhi, so that's how A is there. Antaryamascha me Again, the ma is because of sandhi. So for our purposes, it's antaryamascha me. Antaryamascha me. Antaryamascha me. There is no difficult consonant, so it should be pretty simple for you all to chant. Let's look at the meaning of antaryamaha, because it's antaryamaha, cha me becomes antaryamascha me. So what is antaryamaha? Antaryamaha means that which is within. Antaryami means one who is within, inside everyone. So there is something which is within us. That which has gone also, you can, that which has gone within is yamaha also. Okay. So antaryamaha, that which has gone within, that which remains within, all that is antaryamaha. So we are asking for the Lord, asking from the Lord for the inner self also to be present. Antaryamaha chame kalpata. You can say the principle which is within, that let that be also beneficial, because that is divinity. So let us be in touch with that. Antaryami is a prayer, because sometimes when we do prayers, we may not be able to be in touch with our deepest self. So this is a prayer from Rudra, so that we can be in touch with that deepest self within us. Antaryamascha me kalpata. There's another meaning which is also given. The mantra, when it's uttered, when it's mumbled, there is something, it resonates within also. The mantra has 3 levels of resonance: inside, in our mouth, and externally. Because Swami always says the Namasmarana is like, bhajan is like having light in the mouth. Okay, the light actually spreads light outside as well as the light spreads inside also. That is the trick of doing any japam with mouth loud. So when we chant loud, the world also benefits. We also benefit. Inside also we benefit. All these 3 are mentioned, as you can see. Amshu, Upamshu, Antaryama. That way also we can take the meaning. The first mantra is Amshu, which is external. Upamshu is in ourself. Antaryama is that which is deep within. So the impact of the mantra and the yajna is at all 3 levels. And so we are praying to the Lord for all 3 benefits. Let them all be beneficial. Okay. Again, there is, Swami will say, thought, word, and deed. Externally, we do the deed. That has to be beneficial. Word, which is in our mouth, that also should be beneficial. The thought is deep within, that also should be beneficial. So all these 3 are being prayed for in this chapter, you can say. Okay, Amshuhu, Upamshuhu, Antaryama. Okay, so all 3, let them all be beneficial. Let them all work together. This kind of prayer is coming through in this mantra, Antaryamascha kalpatam. We will go to the next mantra. Aindra Vayavascha me. Aindra Vayavascha me. Aindra Vayavascha me. In terms of pronunciation, it should be pretty simple. Aindra Vayavascha me. Let's look at the meaning. Aindra Vayavaha cha me kalpatam is the mantra. Aindra Vayavaha. What is this? Aindra Vayavaha is a plural word. Aindra Vayuhu means singular. Aindra Vayavaha means plural. Okay. So let's look at, then if you take Indra Vayu, what is Indra Vayu? Indra Vayu comes from the word Indra Vayu, which together become Indra Vayu. From the Indra Vayu, another word comes which is Indra Vayu. I don't want to get, I thought I should go into technical details of grammar. Sorry. In Sanskrit, you take a word and you attach another affix, and the meaning changes. The affixes are normally called pratyaya. Pratyaya. These are affixes. They can be suffixes or prefixes, but in general, pratyayas are called affixes. Most of them are actually suffixes. But in some cases, this affix also has an impact on the beginning of the word. So what happens is, for example, I'll give you some examples. Dasharatha is the king, Dasharatha. Rama is called Dasharatha. That means son of Dasharatha is Dasharatha. Okay, for example, if you take Parvati Devi. Parvati, the word Parvati comes from the word Parvata. Parvata means mountain. That Parvata son is Parvataha. Okay. If the Parvata, a mountain has a son, it will be Parvataha. But the mountain has a daughter, it will be Parvati. Okay. So the first letter Pa becomes Pa. Okay. But the thing is, so then I will give you another example. For example, Kaikeyi. Kaikeyi, who is the mother of Bharata, she is the daughter of the Kekaya king. The father was Kekaya. So because of that, the daughter is called Kaikeyi. Kekaya, Kaikeyi. Another example is Janaka, Janaki. So these are, so an A is added to the first letter of the word. So you can say Ja, added A, they become Ja. Dasharatha, Da, you add an A, it becomes Da. Kaya, the word K plus A becomes Kai. A, okay. A plus A becomes Kai. So in this case, Indra, E plus A becomes Aindra. Okay, that's a Sandhi rule. Okay. So Aindra Vayava means who is born of Indra and Vayu. In the child, so you can say descendants of Indra and, for example, Raghava, you call Rama Raghava. He's a descendant of Raghu, King Raghu. That's why we call Raghava. So it's the same way Aindra Vayu means the child or descendant of Indra and Vayu. Okay. Vayavaha means plural. Generally, we will say children or descendant mean, okay, somebody got married and their children. We should understand this principle of Indra plus Vayu. For example, water is the descendant of oxygen and hydrogen. Hydrogen is H, oxygen is O. Their children is water because the coming together of hydrogen and oxygen produces water. Same way, Indra and Vayu, two energies, when they produce something comes out, that is called Indra Vayavaha. So now let's see what is this Indra Vayavaha. What happens is, for example, we have eyes. Eye is an Indriya. Okay. But the thing is, for us to feel the sight, we have to see something means there has to be a movement of some energy between the eye and the object, and the energy has to travel to our mind also. That movement can happen only because of Vayu. Vayu is the only thing which can move anything. So our senses cannot function unless the Indriyas come in contact with Vayu. Any movement of anything is controlled by Vayu. So Indra Vayavaha means all our sensory perceptions. Whatever you perceive with your senses are all Indra Vayavaha. So Indra Vayavahascha me kalpatam. So the prayer is, let all our sensory perceptions which arise out of the function of the Indriya and the Vayu, let them be beneficial. So that's the meaning of Aindra Vayavaha. Okay. So even if there anyone who's interested in Ayurveda, they will, in Ayurveda, the sensory perceptions are described. Vayu is of three types, they say. External Vayu, Stula Vayu, which, wind which blows around. There's Indriya Vayu, that which perceives, that is also Vayu. Okay, so there's an internal Vayu also. Okay, Vata. So there are multiple, ways. That's why Ayurveda is called Ayurvedam, because that is also Vedic principles are embedded in Ayurveda. So they look at every single phenomenon in this world and see how it all functions. If the eyes are there and the Vayu is not functioning, you can't connect. So people will say, oh, there's no connection between the eye and the nerve centers are not transmitting the electricity, the vibrations, you see, whatever is captured and by the eye has to be transported to the brain for it to be processed. The process of transportation is Vayu. Okay, so the whole process of sense and Vayu, whatever comes out of which are impressions, let them all be beneficial. Aindra Vayavascha me kalpata. See, if we can't see anything clearly and understand, we can't function in this world also. Our eyesight is poor, hearing is not so good, means we may need aids. Aids, hearing aid or glasses, which we use external, but the rishis are praying to the Lord for that help, so that all our senses function in the best way possible. That's the prayer, Aindravaya Vaschame Kalpata. Let's go to the next mantra, Maitra Varunaschame. Maitra Varunaschame. Maitra Varunaschame. Okay. Again, the Ma is because of Sandhi, because I is following. Me has become A, Ma. I have not taken the trouble of writing Me. I hope you all will pardon me for that. I hope you, by now you all are familiar with it, that I don't have to do that. So let's look at Maitra Varunaha Chame. So Maitra Varunaha, again, this mantra is pretty simple. No difficult consonants or aspirated consonants. So it should be simple for you all to chant. So let's look at the Maitra Varunaha. What is Maitra Varunaha? Again, Mitra plus Varuna is Mitra Varunaha. Oh, Mitra Varuna. Maitra means the descendant of that. Okay, Mitra means friend. Maitri means friendship. Mitra means friend. Maitri means friendship. So similar to this. Here, Mitra and Varuna, we have already looked at these two deities for manifestation of Rudra in the previous Chamakam, previous Anuvaka. What comes out of the combination of these two is Maitra Varuna. Mitra actually, I think is, I may have Swami's excerpt must be there. Mitra looks after the alimentary canal, the digestion process. Varuna is water. These two only help our digestion. So whatever impressions we get also have to be digested, not only food digestion, even impressions, mental impressions have to be digested and processed. Otherwise, Swami will say mental indigestion is also there. So that process is governed by these two deities, these two coming together. Mitra and Varuna, when they come together, whatever comes out of it, you can say that is what actually gives us absorption of the nutrition. All that happens by Mitra and Varuna together. Brother Kumar, you have a question?
Yes, brother. I have a quick question. I think in the Greek tradition also, they, in the ancient time, they used to worship Mitra and Varuna. Is any connection to that to our Indian versus Greek? Because some of these names, Mitra, Varuna, because when I used to read in the ancient Greek,
yes, Mitra, Varuna, yes.
do you have, is it something that because of the trade route? I don't want to take the class away from this, but it's a good topic for a discussion, but I know, but it's not here, but I just thought whether you have any, because I used to read this, that's what I just wanted to bring this up. probably if you have heard anything on this.
Okay, brother. Thank you. See the
Sairam, brother, the Mitran in Tamil we also call Suryan, sun too.
yes, sister.
Maybe I thought maybe this is the son of Suryan and Varuna. I interpreted like that. Maybe you also just now indicated digestive process and everything. Sun is heavily involved in that one. That's why I also thought Mitra, it could be another name of Surya, God, the sun.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sister. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Very means thanks for pointing it out, sister. Mitra is a name for sun also. First I will address Sister Anand this question. Why is sun called Mitra is because he is the best friend for the entire universe. He is the one who helps all us to live in this world. So the beneficial aspect of sun's light is Mitra. That's why the sun is also, see, everyone is given different names based on the certain qualities and characteristics which we are able to experience. So one of the aspect of sun is he's a Mitra. He is helpful for us to live. He is the best friend for everyone in this world. A farmer will say, sun is my best friend. Without him, the crops will not grow. For us also, without sunlight, many things will not happen in our own body. Nowadays, they say vitamin D deficiency is the cause for everything. Vitamin D is nothing but what the sunlight produces in us. Sun is the best friend. That is why he's called Mitra. He's given the name Mitra also. So you are right. Going back to Brother Kumar's. So in the Greek tradition, in the Latin tradition, also these similar words are there. So the question, people generally think through some trade route something went. That is one theory. But there's another theory. The same God who put certain thoughts in somebody's mind in some part of the world could have easily put the same thought in somebody else's mind somewhere else in the world. So, it may seem, how is that theory possible? Means another question, meaning I can say. We all call our mother Amma, Ma. These words are present everywhere in the world. But if you look at a cow, the calf also calls the mother Ma. Did it learn from human beings? Did it learn? The same God energizes the mind and puts certain thoughts, makes certain sounds vibrate everywhere. Then what's the difference between Sanskrit and those languages? Another question which we can ask. The Vedic seers, what they did was they basically refined it. Just the way we can find a diamond everywhere in the world. In different countries, people have developed different techniques of how to polish and cut. So Samskrita was refined by rishis. It's called the mother language by many. But that means it is in touch with the mother nature, in the nature of mother, which is Sanskritam land, because it refined so well, it was able to help others also refined in their own way, their own languages. That is the real, for example, if I have a thought and if I am communicating something, if somebody else, unless they have the same thought, they will never agree with me. They also have the thought independent of what I am saying, but it is just that it may validate or it may confirm. So this is the nature of language itself. So my understanding is same thought actually generated sounds in various countries. I don't know, there's maybe it's a side track, but because you brought up the topic, I will say. People talk about Periyava, Shankaracharya, Chandrasekhar Saraswati. Apparently once some Jewish people came to him. They were thinking, which is the oldest language, Sanskrit, or, they're looking for the oldest language. Some people said Tamil, some people said Sanskrit, some people said, Hebrew, and so on. So he asked them to wait. And he called some students in the Vedic Padashala and asked them to chant something from some Veda apparently, they chanted. So he asked them to listen. Then he gave them some one formula and told that each of the sound in that letter, that text piece, have to be changed using a certain formula. So, for example, "a" becomes "u," and so on. Some formula he had given, and asked them to change that text. And then he asked them to recite that changed one. And these Jewish people were shocked apparently, because what they were chanting is nothing but what is in their Torah, in their scripture. So apparently he said, look here, each sound actually goes through certain changes when it travels. In which part of the world, in which latitude and longitude, the sound will change to this is also something which have been discovered by rishis. So this is what he had told. Then he has told, now you figure out which is oldest and which is not oldest, and he let them go. So I will stop here. It's just a digression. So the same God could have put thought in different people. It is just that some people make good use of it and refined, just like science has refined many things in this world, where the knowledge comes together and improves. So I hope that answers your question, brother. I think it's a separate discussion altogether, but I will pause here for now. So Maitra Varunaschame. So you can say Mitra, as Sister Anand said, sons, the sun's energy and the water energy. So that you can say together digests and absorbs everything in us. So all the nutrition which we have digested and absorbed, let them all be beneficial to us. Maitra Varunaschame Kalpata. We'll go to the next mantra, which is Ashvinaschame. 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 Very simple mantra. There are no aspirated consonants. Again, Ashvinaha comes from the word Ashwini. We have already looked at the Ashwini twins in the previous Ashvinav. We have looked at in the previous Anuvaka. So what comes from the Ashwini twins is Ashvinaha. What is Ashvinaha? You can ask. Ashwini twins, actually in the, I think the excerpt which Swami had given, Swami says the Ashwini twins are govern the breath. They govern the breath. Breath is nothing but prana. Okay. So the thing is, they control how the prana flows in and out, how it works together. And these Ashwini twins are also famed for as the best doctors. They can make an old person young, and all that is there, so they're capable of giving youth also to anyone. So they are the people who produce medicines. So you can say Ashvinaha means a health. From their work only, if we have health, if I am healthy today, it's because of the blessings of the Ashwini twins. And the health is a byproduct or something which comes out of their work. So we are asking, let our health also be beneficial. You can say Ashvinaha Chame Kalpata. I'm just giving health means not only bodily health, even mental health, ability to absorb and make it beneficial, not only for ourselves, for others also. All that is governed by this mantra, Ashvinaha Chame Kalpata. So anyone is not well, they can chant this, and I'm sure that can also help. So you can see the food itself absorbed, that has to be turned into medicine. So that way also we can take, which the previous mantra Maitra Varunaha means food, nutrition, that turns into life-giving medicine. That way also we can take. So it all depends on our own visualization, but these principles are outlined by the rishis. Now let's look at some excerpts from Swami's discussion, Swami's discourses. I have quite a bit of excerpts. I hope you all are okay with it, because I thought it's very important, that some of these Swami's teachings are also shared as part of our study. So this excerpt is taken from 1974 Summer Showers. In 1971 Summer Course, Swami spent a lot of time explaining to us various Vedic concepts. In this context, our Shrutis have taken the three words Bharata, Bharata, and Bharati and have synthesized the three names with Ida, Saraswati, and Bharati. Okay. So the words Bharata, Bharata, and Bharati, Swami says, have been used in this word Ida, Saraswati, and Bharati. These are again names for the goddess or the energy form in which God actually energizes the world. In this context, they had taken these three, Ida, Saraswati, and Bharati, as three aspects of God and teaching that they relate to the whole world. This is what the Veda has been teaching. Bharata has been used also for Vayu and Indra. In the earth, there is Agni, and in the space, there is Vayu, and in the sky, there are sun's rays. By using Agni, Vayu, and the sun, and in identifying these three as phases of Bharata, the Veda has been teaching that this goddess pervades Bharati and the entire world. I think maybe this is the way I have accepted it. I think some of this may be slightly interchanged, I guess, but you will understand that the aspects of God, or various aspects, are actually they're pervading the entire world. We should regard these three, Ida, Saraswati, and Bharati, as three phases of one and the same divine aspect. They are not distinct. This has been taught by our Veda. By looking at what is commonly seen from a worldly point of view and to say that a particular thing is air or sun's rays and to mention them in isolation is only ignorance. You will notice that even if any one of these three is absent, it is not possible to recognize the existence of the other two. So you will notice, I will repeat the sentence. You will notice that even if any one of the three is absent, it is not possible to recognize the existence of the other two. If there is no sun, there is no air and fire. If we do not have air, we shall not be able to comprehend the meaning of fire or sun's rays. If there is no fire, there is no possibility of getting air or sun. Therefore, fire, air, and sun are all inseparable aspects of Bharata and always go together. While the Shruti teaches the oneness and yet sometimes talks of the Agni in an isolated manner, there's a meaning for this. When we talk of the nature or Prakriti, we usually mean the gross manifestation of the created world. In addition to this, I think spelling mistake here. There is a subtle aspect of human nature which is also included in the word Prakriti. In the subtle aspect of Prakriti, if there's no fire, then the body will perish. It is only through fire that there is a possibility of water coming up for us. In every body, air is present in the form of prana or life. If air which takes the form of life is not present in our body, then the entire life becomes extinct. In the aspect of fire and that of air or Vayu, the sun takes the place of the heart. If the heart is missing, even if one is leading a life for outward purposes, it is equivalent to death. Therefore, if there is no Agni, Vayu, and sun, we cannot recognize human life. In this context, in order that we may understand human life in its fullest sense, it is appropriate to use the word Bharata for all that which encompasses humanity. So as you can see in the, I just thought, it sheds some light to the context of, different aspects of divinity working together. Indra, Vayu, Varuna, Mitra, they all are reflecting in some way Agni, Vayu, Sun, like Mitra. All of them together create many things in this world, and they're coming together is what makes us alive. So this was recognized by the rishis. They looked at them individually from a gross perspective, but when it's taken inside, even in the external world, they also come together in many ways, in subtle ways, and through that, all the creation functions effectively. And that's what Swami says, and all that is called Bharata. Bharata Varsha, that's the way it's considered. It's not necessarily belong to one country, it covers everyone in this world. And that's what Swami says. And let's look at another excerpt. Dikshit spoke about the glory of the Lord. And the other Pandits gave you detailed accounts of the experiences of ideal men who struggled to arrive at the truth. Everyone must be interested in knowing about these, for all should have an ideal to strive for, a goal to be reached. Otherwise, life is reduced to aimless wandering. For saplings to grow, soil is essential. For ideals to get implanted, knowledge of the struggles and successes of saints and sages is essential. These experiences are not uniform. Each spiritual aspirant has a different story to tell, depending upon their equipment and enthusiasm. So the vision and the glory are different, though all are divine. The mansion of India's glory is built of charming stones, each block being the hardy penance of some sage or other. No one sage can be neglected, for if their attainment is ignored, the wall of the mansion would be so much weaker. Take the case of Agastya, for example. I mention him because someone gave out his name while addressing you. He is called pot born. But remember that he and Vasishta were both children of Mitra and Varuna and were both born from the same pot. He put an end to the evil deeds of the ferocious giants Ilvala and Vatapi by just 3 words. Vatapi Jirno Bhava. Vatapi is becoming ruined or wasted or digested. Okay. He made the high peak Vindhya mountain bow his head and become low. That is why he is known by the name Agastya. That is to say, he taught humility to the proudest in the land. Agastya is also reported to have drunk of the ocean all in one sip. That is to say, he dried up the ocean of the objective world, samsara, with its waves of grief and joy, prosperity and adversity, success and failure. It is not any special power, this feat. It is a parable explaining that though he was a married man with a son who recited the Vedas as soon as he saw light, yet conquered all attachments of the world. Be attached only to the ideal. That is a sign of a sage. I picked this excerpt up because Mitra and Varuna, Maitra Varunaha, also is sometimes referred as Agastya. Maitra Varunaschame we looked at. So Maitra Varuna is Agastya also. So Agastya symbolizes that function of digestion, as you can see, I was telling Mitra and Varuna digest. That's why Agastya is supposed to have eaten this Vatapi and said Jirno Bhava means he got digested. So when Maitra and Varuna come together, and what Agastya is the one who can digest anything in this world. He can drink up anything in this world. All that is symbolized by Agastya. So also in a yajna, one of the Ritvik is nominated as Agastya. So different names of sages are also given to different yajna, people who are performing yajna. All that is to symbolize the work, effort in giving us all this knowledge, and also to recollect how they have lived their lives for certain ideals. And we should also live such lives so that we also, that's our yajna offering to the Lord. So there are many layers of meanings for many of these mantras. So Maitra Varunaha is Agastya also. Okay, so for that purpose, I had taken this excerpt. I hope it's okay. Now we will go on to the next mantra. Prati prasthanascha me. Prati prasthanascha me. Prati prasthanascha me. In terms of pronunciation, the word stha, the tha is an aspirated letter, which is the second letter in the tha varga. So it has to be aspirated with some extra air. Prati prasthanascha me. So just pay attention to that. If the mantra is split, the sandhi ischa change splits, you have prati prasthanah cha me kalpata. Prati prasthanam prati prasthanah cha me kalpata. What is prati prasthanah? General meaning is, it is someone who helps in the performance of a yajna. So there are many roles in a yajna, like advaryu, pratiprasthana, like that. In a yajna setup, there are different ritviks, different performers given different roles and names, titles, and different duties also. But let's look at the word pratiprasthana, so that from a Sanskrit perspective. Prasthana means movement, going somewhere. Sthana means one place. Prasthana means many places. But it also means going through many spots. I think you must be all knowing that when the Pandavas undertook the journey northward, that's called Mahaprasthana, the great journey, you can say. So Prasthana means journey, movement, and so on. Prasthana means, so that means one who moves. Pratiprasthana means one who comes in the opposite direction. Or who returns, you can also say. One who goes and one who comes. Prasthana, one who goes. Pratiprasthana means one who comes from the opposite direction. So someone who takes care of the coming and going. Okay, some people have to move around with certain actions. So that is also pratiprasthana. Because in this world, that movement of going and coming and going and coming happens in our own body also. You see, there's breath coming out, breath going in, blood flowing in, blood flowing out. So that process of in and out, going and coming, all that is covered by this. So let all the coming and goings, let them be beneficial. The one who takes things in and out, you can say couriers, okay, who takes things out. Even in yajna, when Ahuti is put, Agni takes it and he brings it back also. So there are multiple levels of meaning. There fire also is given that meaning, pratiprasthana. So one who affects this movement of delivery and bringing back, taking and coming, that also should be beneficial. is the prayer Prasiprasthanascha Kalpata. We look at the next mantra, Shukrascha me. Shukrascha me. Shukrascha me. It's pretty simple word, so I don't think we'll have to spend any effort because there are no aspirated sounds. We look at the meaning, Shukra cha me kalpata. Shukra, generally Shukra is known as Venus, but here Shukra means that which is pure, that which is white essence, and so much juice. So you can say in our heart, when it's so pure, what comes out of that essence is Shukra. Through all these processes, that is also essential. So we're asking for that to be beneficial. Shukrascha me kalpatam. That is the essence of all that is pure and beneficial. Let that also be be offered to the Lord. Let it be beneficial. See, we should understand Shukracharya is the guru of the Asuras. So he had so much knowledge. He is supposed to have had more knowledge than even Brihaspati, guru of the Devas. But let that kind of knowledge and scholarship also has to be pure and beneficial. So we are asking the Lord, because even though when we do a lot of sadhana and there is so much good which can come out of it, that also can get tainted or become not so beneficial. So we are asking the Lord for making it beneficial and useful. Shukrascha me kalpata. So that's the prayer. So that is so much juice. That is the mind itself, which is the essence of the mind when it's pure. The next mantra is Manthi Chama. Chama is the chanting because of Sandhi, the Ma. Otherwise, it should be Manthi Chame. Manthi Chame. Manthi Chame. In terms of pronunciation, the Tha is aspirated because it's the second letter in the Tha Varga. So pay attention to that. So it's Manthi Chame. Let's look at the meaning of the word Manthi. Manthi is one who churns. I don't know, the churning of it's called Samudra Manthana, it's called, when the Milky Ocean was churned by the Devas and the Asuras. So churning, that process of churning, one who churns is called Manthi. So in the Yajna, the fire is produced by churning 2 pieces of wood. And the one who does that is the Manthi. Okay. So we are asking that person also be beneficial. That process of churning and the fire which comes out of it will be beneficial is the prayer. So that Manthi is also our own mind, the contemplation, the reflection, the inquiry in our mind, or dwelling on the thought of the Lord, again and again repeating the name of the Lord. All that is churning in the right way. See, our mind is capable of churning in many different ways. If a negative thought comes, it will churn that also. A positive thought comes also, it can churn. But here the prayer of the rishis is so that our churning of the mind, let it be beneficial. Let it be the japa of the name of the Lord. So Manthi Chame Kalpatam. Because the mind is always churning, going about doing something. So let it be beneficial is the prayer. Manthi Chame Kalpatam. We'll go to the next mantra. Agrayanascha me. Agrayanascha me. Agrayanascha me kalpata. In terms of pronunciation, it should be simple. There are no aspirated consonants here. So agrayanaha cha me. Okay, so agrayana, the meaning given by the commentators is that it is the first fruits oblation. Apparently, in the Vedic Yajna, they take the first harvest of the fruits, and the first set of fruits are offered to the Lord. So that the process is called agrayana. So even it's a very sacred tradition in the Indian subcontinent that whenever you cook something, the first thing is offered. I don't know how many of you will remember that in the villages, ancient times, if you make any sweet, that first piece is offered to the fire there. They will say that is the first offering. If you make a dosa, you make a small dosa and give it for the fire first. You fry something, you put the first one there. So that is the level of gratitude. Because they said this fire has helped me cook this food. And we are going to eat it. So we feed that fire also. So any first offering, that's why we say prasadam, it's made first we have to offer to God and then only others can eat. So we always offer it first to the God. So they come from the word agra. Okay, agra means first, primary. Okay, ayana, that given to that. So agra ayana means first giving, first movement, Agra, from that what comes, so that becomes prasadam. Okay, when the oblation of first things are given, then that makes everything beneficial. So that is the thought of this agrayanascha kalpata. So we're asking, let our first offering to you, let it be also beneficial to everyone. Is the prayer agrayanascha kalpata. The next mantra, Vaishwa devascha me. Vaishwa devascha me. Vaishwa devascha me. In terms of pronunciation, it should be pretty simple. There are no aspirated sounds. So Vaishwadevaha cha me. Vaishwadevaha cha me is the mantra. So let's look at Vaishwadevaha. Again, Vaishwadeva comes from the word Vishwadeva. We have looked at Vishwadeva. Actually, we have looked at already in the previous Anuvaka. That means all the gods, Vishwadevaha. What comes from that is Vaishwadevaha. Okay. Oh, but that which relates to the Vishwadevaha is Vaishwadevaha. Okay, that way also you can take the meaning of this suffix pratyaya called an. Okay. So Vaishwadevaha comes from the word Vishwadevaha plus an pratyaya gives you Vaishwadevaha. So offering related to Vishwadevaha. So what the commentators is, when we offer to all the gods, that's also considered as Pitrus, because after all, gods are all the human beings. I think I had mentioned that also in the last session, that when we say 3,300 crores and all that of gods, that we look at everything in this world as gods, and they are all nothing but Pitrus. They are the ones who keep us alive, who make us sustain us. So the Vishwadeva is also considered Pitrus. So when we do Shraddham, and when past Vishwa, every day we are supposed to do. I think we do Shraddham, once a year. Brahmanas do it once a month if you're a bit more meticulous. But the very good Agnihotris have to do it every day. So Vaishwadevascha me kalpadam. So before any good deed is done, we offer to the Pitrus. That means we offer to the entire world. So we look at Agrayana first. You give first to the God. Agni is given first. Then you have to give to everyone in this world before you eat anything. So that's why the tradition of feeding the cows, feeding the crows, feeding the birds, feeding an atithi, some guest, and then you eat. So that concept is mentioned as Vaishwadevaha cha me kalpata. So what we offer to all these people, this entire world, that is Vaishvadeva. Okay. So we are asking, let that be also beneficial. Vaishvadevascha me kalpatam. Vaishvadevascha me kalpatam. So we will look at the next mantra. Dhruvascha me. Dhruvascha me. Dhruvascha me. In terms of pronunciation, pay attention to the first letter, which is Dhru. The Dhru is actually, the Dh is from the fourth letter in the Thavarga, so it has to be aspirated. Dhruvascha me kalpata. When it's split, it's Dhruvaha cha me. Dhruvaha cha me. So let's look at what is Dhruvaha. Dhruvaha means something which is firm, one which is fixed. A deity personifying this quality is Dhruvaha. There's story of Dhruva, I think all of you should know. Dhruva was a small child. He was the son of a king called Uttanapada. His mother had a co-sister. His father had two wives, Shruti and Suruchi, and the father was partial to the second wife. So when this Dhruva, as a child, wanted to sit on the lap of the father, his stepmother chased him away. Unless he is born in her womb, he cannot sit. So he was devastated as a small child, a small kid, 3 to 5 years, I guess. So the mother advised, why don't you do penance? His own mother said, what to do? You are born in my womb. Are you allowed to worship Narayana and get a boon? So this kid goes to the forest and does penance. And through this process, he realizes the futility of this world. And when the Lord comes, he asks, Lord, I want to come to you. Then Lord says, no, you came here to pray for something else. So first you go and find your place, rightful place in this world, and then later you can come. So that's the name of story of Dhruva. Why he was given the name Dhruva is after this, the Lord gave him a permanent position in this world as the North Pole star. The pole star in the north is Dhruva. That's always fixed, and the entire world revolves around that, is the Vedic understanding. So that place is fixed. Everything else moves, but that will never never change its position as far as Earth is concerned. So that kind of steadiness through all times, through all circumstances, to be firm and steady, that is represented by the word Dhruva. One who is firm, determined, and fixed in their position. So why this? We asking the Lord for yajna, we have to have that one-pointed attention, firm attention, which should be unswerving, without any vacillation. That quality, that has to be also given by the Lord. Only the Dhruva is capable of granting that to us. So we worship Rudra to give us that boon. In his manifestation as Dhruva, let him bless us with that ability to be firm and determined and unswerving in our effort. So that is being prayed for. Dhruvascha me kalpatam. Dhruvascha me kalpatam. It's 10:16. I don't know. I don't think we can complete it. And maybe I will take another 3 mantras, and then we will come back next session, I guess. We look at the next mantra. Vaishvanarascha ma. That's the way it's pronounced ma, but it's me. So Vaishvanarascha me. Vaishvanarascha me. Vaishvanarascha me. Kalpata. Let's look at the meaning. Vaishvanaraha. What is Vaishvanaraha? I think we have discussed this because as part of food prayer, Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir, and Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva, where Krishna is telling in the Bhagavad Gita, Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva, Praninam Deham Ashritaha. So Vaishvanaraha is the fire who digests food, is what we have studied. Vishwa means everything in this world. All beings is Vishwa. Okay. In them, there's as fire, the Lord is present. Okay. So the Vaishvanara is the fire which comes when Vishnu himself, who is present, from him comes the fire in us, which is called Vaishvanara. Vaishvanara is not only digestion, it's the one which keeps everything alive in this world. The fire element which keeps us alive. That's everything in this body of ours. That fire is Vaishvanara fire. So we're asking the Lord to be present in us as Vaishvanara. Vaishvanara chame kalpatam. We're asking the Lord to continue to be in our being as Vaishvanara and make it beneficial, so that He be beneficial to us, so that we live and do whatever has to be offered into that fire. Because in the food mantra we say Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavir, Brahmaknau. God is the fire. That's the prayer. The food is offered to that fire. And when it's offered in a state of samadhi, it reaches Him. That's the prayer, food prayer. Then the Lord responds, Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva. I am the one who is present as that Agni. So you don't have, I digest everything. So God, we asking the Lord to be present in us as Vaishvanara Agni. Vaishvanaraschame Kalpatam. Recognizing that the Lord is the one who is energizing us and enlivening us. The next mantra is Ritugrahaaschame. 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 In terms of pronunciation, all the sounds are rather simple. The first one is R. Okay. Sometimes people may change Ru. Just to make sure that Rit. Okay. Rit. Grahaaschame. Let's look at the meaning of Ritugrahaha. Because Ritugrahaha cha me becomes Ritugrahaschame. Okay. Sarga becomes ish. What is Ritugraha? Okay. Ritu means season. The change in the season is Ritu. Vasanta Ritu, Sharad Ritu, Hima, Hima Ritu, like that. Each season is given certain name. So Grita Graha means for each season there is something offered. It's offering based on the season. That is the commentator's meaning for this mantra. So depending on the season, we offer different things to the Lord. And so we're asking that let them all be beneficial. In our life, different phases, we'll be able to give different things to the Lord based on our situation and circumstances. So let each of the circumstances, let us have something beneficial to offer. Let there be something beneficial to all of us. This is the prayer of the Rishis. Ritugrahaaschame kalpata. Let's look at the next meaning, next mantra. Again, there was avagraha because of sandhi, but I've replaced avagraha with a. So a is not silent anymore when you split the sandhi. So the mantra is atigrahyascha me. Atigrahyascha me. Me again has become ma because of sandhi. Atigrahyascha me. If you look at the meaning of atigrahya, I did a lot of search for this mantra. I could not find too much information. So I relied on what the commentators have already said. They said 3 libations made at the Jyotishtoma sacrifice. You know, there are different sacrifices. I think I will in the next or the following Chamakam, I will spend a little bit of time on the types of sacrifices. This in general, some understanding. So apparently, this is a name given for certain oblations made in a particular sacrifice. I will have to, when I cover Jyotishtoma, we will deal with it a bit more. But I think Grahya means the most important, the highest, that kind of meaning is also there. I think Grahya, over and above what's given, that kind of meaning is also there. So, but we can say, something of importance, an important offering which is offered is, I think for now, I think we'll have to be satisfied because that's all I'm able to offer as meaning for this mantra. I will have to do a little more research and study to understand if there's any other meaning. But at this point in time, we'll take one of the most important offering, the important offerings that we offer in the sacrifice. Let them all be beneficial. Atigrahya achame kalpata. Okay. So I think I will stop here if it's okay with you all, because it's already 10:24. Because once I go to the next mantras, yeah, so it will be. So I will just leave it at this because 6 more minutes to go. I will stop here. If there are any questions on whatever we have shared today, I will be happy to give you an answer. Yes, Sairam Kalyani.
Sairam, Uncle, just in the previous slide, where it says Shraddha done in the morning, is that the Shraddham you were
It's
talking about?
Shraddha. It's Shraddha. Actually, maybe I should put
Oh, okay. And it's specifically done in the morning?
So Shraddha is generally done. Actually, another Vaishwadeva is coming the next mantra because they do it twice apparently.
Oh,
So this something done in the morning, something done in the afternoon.
okay.
Okay. So that's why this mantra itself appears twice in this Chamakam and this Anuvakam. Okay. So apparently it's done twice, and that's what this refers to, is from what I understand.
Okay.
Okay. Shraddha means, yeah, what you offer to the. Okay, sorry. Yeah, what's offered in the morning.
Okay.
And that's what the commentators have said. So that's what I have also used. Okay, so I hope it's okay. So it's
Yeah.
Shraddha.
Shraddha.
Anything which we offer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If there are no other questions, then we can close. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sairam everyone.